evening. Good evening. And welcome to Terry's Beautiful Body, Stars of Oklahoma. It is my privilege. I'm so honored to have in my home tonight the magnificent Mr. Melvin Charles.
Hi.
How's that for a greeting? So glad to have you in my home this evening.
Thank you for inviting me out.
It is, oh wow, you just don't know how excited I am.
I'm glad you have.
To meet you the other day, was a pleasure as well.
Same here.
And I'm so glad that you said, well, Terry, we can do this interview another time. And I said, I believed you.
Right.
I turned that camera right off. I said, he said it, and I know he's a man of his word.
Right, absolutely.
And I didn't have anything to worry about. So I was excited when you texted me the other day and like, Terry, what you think about the book? And I was like, great. And I knew, and I stayed up all night reading it, and I was like, oh my gosh, today at work I was so tired, Melvin.
Wow.
But it was worth it. And then when you told me you had another interview, and I was like, that's okay too, because I can go ahead and get some beauty sleep.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you inviting me out.
Okay, so we can start. Everyone knows Terry's Beautiful Bodies is everyone. It's my name, but it's everyone. Because to me, it's the mind that makes the body. No matter what age, you got to keep it going.
Right.
We only get one. That's part of Terry's Beautiful Bodies. The other side of Terry's Beautiful Bodies, that's you. That's where you come in. The Stars of Oklahoma. I'm telling you, I did not know too much about you up until what? About a couple weeks ago or so?
Right.
And we started Twittering and Facebooking and
Right.
everything. And then I found out that you were here. Right here, under my nose. And I said, I am going to meet him.
Right.
I said that. I said, I'm going to meet him and I'm going to interview him.
Well, I
God
appreciate
said it, and I believe it.
It's all good. I appreciate it.
That's right.
I'm humbled to be here.
So, anyway, you're from Oklahoma City.
I am born and raised.
Born and raised in Oklahoma City. And I'm loving that. And your parents?
My dad was from Guthrie and my mother was actually she was born in Montana, but she went to Douglas High School like most black folks. In
Oh, she
Oklahoma
went to
City.
Douglas?
Yeah.
My sister went to Douglas.
Okay.
For a while, then we moved to Midwest City.
Oh, I see.
Brothers, sisters?
I have two sisters, both of them in Houston. Both of them live in
Houston. Really?
Uh-huh.
They just left or just left you?
They just left me. So they found greener pastures in Houston.
Okay. Houston's a big city.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
really
I
big.
hate to visit. Traffic's bad.
It
Drives me
is.
nuts.
It is really bad. But we're starting to get like that here.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Still not like
No.
most cities that I travel to. So.
No, it's not. But we're growing. Oklahoma City's busting out.
Absolutely.
We're busting
I'm enjoying
out.
it though.
I am too. And I'm so excited to
Glad to
see
see
it
the
growing.
progress.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, I am. The bridge and the thunder and
Right.
thunder roar and all
That
this.
means opportunities for everybody. So
Absolutely.
It works out.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone is just jumping up, upside down, round and round about this book. This book, oh my God, it's hot. It really is hot. Do you realize that? Do you realize how hot this book is?
That's funny.
It is.
I guess. I mean, I went through a lot of issues with writing that whole book. It took me some time to come to terms with actually putting this book out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess it feels good to know that people are gaining something from the pages in the book. So it makes me feel real good. So
Yes.
I guess a mission accomplished.
Oh my gosh, Melvin. As soon as I started reading it, from page 1, I was like, I couldn't put it down. I just couldn't put it down, and I knew I had to go to work the next day.
Right.
But it seemed like it didn't matter because I'm like, I'll get sleep. I'll eat and I'll get sleep. All these things are happening, and I knew that I would have the book still, the next day, but I just couldn't put it down because it was such an eye-opener, phenomenal, surprising, everything in one. It's just everything in one in this book. And how you took, it was like I was there, and I wasn't there, but I was here. And it touched me. It really touched me. I was going, oh, really? It did so many things for me, to me, when I read the book. And I wanted to ask you, the first thing, the book, of course, everyone knows, never would have made it. I love the title. The title really speaks for itself, but I'm asking you to elaborate on the title for us.
Well, you know, most people think that the title never would have made it, and I'm actually referring to Tyler. But if you read the book, you know that I'm really not referring to Tyler.
And I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that.
Okay.
That was the reason.
Most people that I come into contact with seem to think that this is some anti-Tyler Perry book or whatever they might think it is. They think that I'm saying that Tyler never would have made it without me. I kind of leave that up to the reader, the interpretation of the reader. I don't really get into that because I'm not God, so I don't know whether he would have made it or not. I just know that with the things that I went through, you know, to be honest with you, I probably shouldn't be sitting in your living room right now. And so while there was a special anointing on Tyler to become the person that he was, I also feel that there was a special anointing on myself to be put into Tyler's life to make that all happen.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I think I have my own story to tell. And the things that I went through back then with Tyler and all the other guys that were involved in this book, it was a journey. And I think that in itself is pretty amazing that I came through that with my family and all those kind of things. And like I said, the never would have made it really is a reference to me.
I already knew that. I knew that because that's what I would have thought carried for me. I know about the song and everyday life, I'm thinking I never would have made it.
Right.
God's grace.
Absolutely.
So it's beautiful. Then, I also have a question about the picture. What made you put his face on your book?
Well,
on the cover.
You know, the funny thing about it is, you know, I wanted to make sure that I was able to reach the people with the message that I was trying to reach. Now, me being the person that I have been for the last 15 years, being a behind-the-scenes producer and that kind of thing, most people have never heard of me. And so I realized that I could have been egotistical and put my picture on the front cover of the book. But, really the story is about how Tyler, I, and another young lady by the name of Nia were struggling back then as kids. And we created the person that you see on the cover of that book. Together. We all did that. I'm very proud of that. There wasn't just no man is an island. So he didn't do it all by himself. And it's not about, you know, me being forgotten or ego or me needing a pat on the back, none of that. It's more so of me just wanting to express what happened to me for all those people that may be interested in this business, that may be interested in Tyler's backstory, that may be entrepreneurs, whatever you may be, that everything is a struggle. You know, and by God's grace, we made it through. So that's the deal. So I just wanted, you know, and when I put the picture on, I decided to go with that on the cover. You know, I wanted to show that human side of Tyler with the emotion and that kind of thing. And so, you know, and to be honest with you, I think it caused a little bit of a controversy because I just want people to think. At the end of the day, I want you to be able to think. Read the book, take it for whatever you will, and think. You know, none of this is easy. None of it. Life ain't easy.
Life is not easy.
and miracles do happen by the grace of God, but you can never ever forget those people that helped you to get where you are.
Absolutely.
Period.
And you know, some people, well, I can't even say, I was getting ready to say some people do. They really don't forget. Not really. I can't say that they forget.
I don't. You know what? You say that's a very valid point. I don't think they actually forget. I think they forget. They don't forget the person was in their lives. I think they forget the sacrifice that they too might have made. And so what happens is, if you tell yourself the same story enough times, whether it's a lie or not, you still believe it.
You start believing it.
Absolutely. So, and then eventually you get defensive, trying to defend it. Even when you're confronted with the absolute truth and confronted with what really happened, You know, sometimes, you know, you told yourself that over the last 15 years, and everybody in your life is always telling you that, you know, how great you are. So you believe it. I mean, but we're all human.
Let me ask you this, Melvin. Do you hurt? Because sometimes friends, they're like family.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
Right.
You know, for a long time, I would say that I was hurt by the whole situation. But as I start to get older, you know, they say time heals all wounds.
Right.
So as I started to get older, start to hurt less and less and less, and then, you know, you know, my children were able to fill some voids in my life, and I came to grips with it all. You know, when I first embarked upon this journey, I wasn't what you would consider a spiritual person. And some people to this day might say I'm not a spiritual person.
Right.
It's a little unfair because, you know, I know what my walk with God is. I don't really have to explain that to anybody.
Right.
And so, but I know me at 26 years old is totally different than the person I am, you know, at 40 years old. So, I was hurt. I was hurt.
Yes.
But things are a little bit different now. It's kind of like it is what it is. I've come to grips with it all. I mean, it's been a long time.
And it's your story, and it's not a story. It's real life. It's real life.
Well, thank you. It was real life for me.
Real life.
I mean, I look back on it and say, wow, this really happened just like this. Wow.
Right.
How did that happen? How am I here? You know, so, like I said, God used me.
I was kind of glancing at some of the interviews because when I knew I was going to interview you, I was thinking I need to do some more research on Melvin now that he's coming to my home and my life, not just my home, but my life, because now you're a part of my life. You are. So I wanted to learn more about you. But I was listening to an interview today. I forgot the lady's name that was interviewing me. I believe it was in Atlanta. It looked like you were in Sabrina Lamb. And she was asking you.
It was in New York.
Was it New York? Yeah. Okay. You've been everywhere, haven't you? And she had asked you, did you send him a book?
Right.
And you said you sent him a book. Right. And he, no answer, no reply, nothing.
I know a lot of people that work with Tyler. So he worked with Tyler. So I know he read the book.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, he read the book. I know he read the book a long time ago.
Absolutely.
I know the day he read it. You know, and I know his biggest issue was some of the things that I talked about in the book that he wish I hadn't talked about.
I'm sure.
But that's it, and I realize that. And that's human nature. I probably would feel the same way if I was him.
Yes.
So I don't begrudge him.
Did he know you were going to write the book?
From what I understand, there was somebody that actually called this promoter's office and told me before I even. I guess it was somebody that I was talking to about maybe doing publicity for the project or something like that. I really don't know who it was in particular, but from what I understand, they did call me and tell them that I was writing the book. I don't think anybody was ready for it. So, but
you've been writing this book a long time now.
Absolutely.
Where, you know, most people, when you wrote the book, were you in a quiet place, you know?
Not me.
No.
No, actually, to be honest, I had a ghostwriter on the project. So
right?
I don't really have the patience, as I say in the book. I got ADD in the book.
I did.
So I really don't have the patience to sit down on a computer and type it out, and then, you know, for it to be, you know, grammatically correct and that kind of thing would probably take a miracle for me to put that together. So I had a wonderful ghostwriter on the project who kind of helped me put all my thoughts together. And if all my neighbors know because they would see me pacing in my front yard.
Really?
Talking on my headset and just talking on the phone for 4 or 5 hours a day every day. And then the next day he would send me the pages and I would review them and talk about it, and then we'd go back and fix it again, and then we move on to the next chapter and move on to the next set of circumstances.
Right.
And so that's kind of how we put it together. It was, you know, before I actually wrote the book, you know, I kind of felt like a 10,000-pound weight was on my shoulders, and after I wrote it, I was like, cool.
Did you feel free?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like, all right. And I got a chance to tell everybody what really happened. Now there are people ask me every 5 minutes anymore. Because there are a lot of people in my life, you know, several friends, several family members who knew that I was involved with Tyler in the beginning because I'd introduced him. And Tyler's been to my house. He ate dinner at my house.
Yes,
you know
so I read. I was like, oh my gosh.
So I, all those people that knew my relationship with Tyler when nobody really knew who Tyler was.
Right.
All wanted to know what happened.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit embarrassing because of the whole situation. I allowed certain circumstances to come into play, which I was being a young naive kid. So as a grown man, it's a little bit embarrassing to know you let somebody get over on you like that.
Right.
I mean, especially as a man.
Absolutely.
And so so I didn't want to talk about it because it was embarrassing to me. You know what I'm saying, to an extent. And so it took me a while to get over that. But like I said, that's old news now.
That's right. Here you are now. Never would have made it.
Absolutely.
Never would have made it. And now life is good. Well, life was good then, but life is good. Still
Absolutely.
good. It's
Life
better.
Every day I can wake up and breathe is good.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you have to be thankful for some of the small things. Back then I really didn't know that. I'm thankful for the fact that I got two wonderful boys and a family that loves me and appreciates me and has been extremely supportive.
Now,
and friends that have been extremely
that is awesome.
supportive.
Tell me about, and Nia, you talk about, she's in this book.
She is.
Now she is.
I'm sure lots of family members are looking at this right now because she's from Oklahoma City.
Is she?
She's from Oklahoma City.
That's awesome. She's a true friend.
Right, she is.
She's definitely a true friend.
Absolutely.
Thick and thin.
I took her for granted too, baby. So that's the funny thing.
Really?
I took a lot of people for granted, but that's just youth and
right. Growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm sure she actually is her company, Strange True Friends, is the producer and the owner of the show Sunday Best.
Sunday Best. Okay.
It's on BET.
Yes.
So she's doing really well, and I'm extremely proud of her and everything that she's doing.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
She was just here last weekend, so
I'd like to meet her.
Yeah.
One day.
She's in LA. She lives in LA. So she comes back and forth every single day.
That's awesome. I'd like to meet her one day. Really.
Wonderful person.
Sounds like it. That's why I brought her up, because I was thinking, wow, that is a friend right there.
She was.
Yes. Now, do you plan on making a movie out of this? I saw some little snippets, as I was going down.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not in the movie business. So, I've had several people approach me about, doing movies and that kind of thing, about a lot of independent stuff. But, I'm really one that has to be done a certain way if I don't be involved in it at all.
You have time?
So what?
You have time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, so if the right situation comes into place, then so be it. If not, I don't know. We'll see.
Are you working on another book?
I've got a pretty good story after this one. I mean, I had to stop the book at a certain point because that's when the story between Tyler and I ended. And so, like I said, God has really been good to me.
He has been.
And I have not necessarily been all that great to God at times. And so, as a sinner, like we all are.
That's right.
Sometimes you have to sit back and say, man, wow, and I got to that too, and I did that. Yeah, for, like I said, a lot of years, that whole situation made me into an individual that probably most people wouldn't like. And I still got a little bit of that in me. But
okay, and we're all born in sin.
Yeah, absolutely.
All born in sin, so we don't point fingers.
Right.
We don't do that. We live and we learn. And He's a merciful God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness, right?
And so there may be another story. We'll see what happens. Let's just get through this one first and see what happens.
That's right. But I already know we're not going to stop at this one. This one was this is awesome.
We'll see.
This is awesome, and
Thank you.
just learning and knowing more, the truth. The truth. Now people say, well, there's two sides to every story.
Yeah, it makes me cringe every time people say it. You know why?
Why?
Some things are black and white. While there are two sides to every story, some things are just black and white. Either I was the producer of Tyler Perry or I wasn't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's black and white.
And I can't imagine somebody just waking up one morning and saying, I think I'll just write this and
Just make it up out of the clear blue sky. You know, surely anybody with any kind of sense out there, unfortunately, a lot of black folks out there think that it's possible for a young man to just sit back and make up a story about Tyler Perry and put his picture on the cover and sell his books and not be shut down. And anybody that knows Tyler knows that wouldn't happen for 5 minutes.
No.
So,
but it was so interesting because I've seen biographies of Tyler Perry, but I didn't hear anything about Oklahoma City and Melvin Childs. It just like jumped all the way across our fine state. Our wonderful young man right here.
Well, you know, a lot of that goes back to the backstory that was created 7 years ago. I never was, myself nor Mia, we never were the type of people that really needed the satisfaction of somebody patting us on the back and saying, wow, that's you. That was my thing. I never really needed that attention. And so we always let him have that spotlight. We never needed to hog that from him. So, you know, and to his credit, our credit, or whomever's credit, it worked. Because, you know, it's a household name now, and the Tyler Perry brand is everywhere.
It is.
You know, so
I do hope, Melvin, one day, wherever he is, whoever he's with, that it will come back to him. You will come back because you're his brother. You're brothers.
Right.
One day, I'm praying for that. As soon as I read the book, I was praying because I've seen Tyler and I've seen his work. I hear him speak, watching his movies, and I love him.
Right.
I love him.
Absolutely, you should.
I do. I love him. I was watching the movie the other day, Good Deed.
Right.
Good Deed. Tyler. And then I read this book, and I'm like, wow. I wish I had him on the other side of me. I said to myself, one day that's gonna happen too.
Okay.
I don't know why I feel it, but I do. I don't know why I felt that I would meet you, but I have. And I feel like it was all in God's plan.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for that. Thank you for being here. I'm telling you. Now let's talk. I want to just talk about your family, your boys. How old are those young men?
22 and 12.
22. Wow.
22.
I thought maybe you were like 35.
I wish I was. Nah, I'm cool.
We're having some fun here.
I'm 41 years old.
41. Wow.
22-year-old son. He's here as a matter of fact. He's in the Navy.
He's in the Navy?
But he's actually here right now. He just had a baby.
Oh, beautiful. I wish she was here tonight.
She told me about it.
Because, you know, Melvin, I've been wanting to interview someone that's in the Navy, in the Army, because with Terris Beautiful Body Stars of Oklahoma, it's everyone that makes a difference.
Absolutely.
That's why I created this show, because we have talent right under our noses. People are watching Entertainment Tonight and all this, and we have them right here. Have them right here in my house.
Right. Well.
And I want the world to know. I do. I want the world to know.
Okay.
I really do. And I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to make that happen.
Let's do it. I'll be right there supporting you.
You
Whatever I
will.
can do to help, just let me know.
Oh, and I'm counting on you for that.
All right. It's all good.
You heard it? You heard it? That's right.
I got you.
He got me. That means he's in my life for good. Can't go nowhere. Okay.